We saw a blind item talking about how Ryan Reynolds and Blake Lively are apparently no longer living together, allegedly. And you know what? I 100%.
Ryan's trying to get out of it now. He's trying to get out of the lawsuit. And they're like, you are a key part of this.
This is what you get, though. This is what you get. You're trying to fucking ruin a guy's livelihood by using...
Did Ryan Reynolds just get caught with another woman? Because that's literally what the internet is whispering right now. And if even half of it is true, this might be the biggest Hollywood heartbreak of the year now before anyone starts panicking. No, there aren't any photos or confirmations yet, but the reason people believe it is because it isn't coming out of nowhere. There's a blind item that just dropped, and let's just say it's not painting a happy picture of Ryan and Blake's marriage. The post didn't give names, but it said, and I quote, "The north of the border actor and his wife have been living apart for nearly a year now at this point. They're barely on speaking terms and haven't publicly split because it would take their public world from bad to worse." Y'all, we all know who that's describing. A Canadian Alistair married to a major Hollywood star. It's giving Ryan and Blake, but hold on. It actually gets worse because apparently this isn't even the first time. Insiders have hinted that Ryan's been moving differently earlier this year. Another blind item popped up claiming that he'd already reached out to a divorce lawyer. You can guess who that sounds like. Ryan Reynolds, the Deadpool star, and Blake Lively, for real. If they've really been living separate lives for almost a year, people are naturally asking who's been around him in the meantime, and the silence from both sides is making folks extra suspicious. Then things flipped fast. After that blind item hit, bigger outlets started pushing a story that their marriage turned toxic. Not just petty bickering, but constant heat, and the vibe reportedly shifted from playful to straight up mean. The wording was rough and the claims felt heavy, which is why everyone's watching their every move right now. Insiders say they've been at each other's throats, and the swearing isn't jokes anymore. It's nasty, it's draining, and the energy is way off from their old flirty banter in public.
How's it going?
Great. Why? What have you heard?
One source even said the F-bombs aren't playful anymore, and that kind of pattern doesn't pop up overnight. It builds until it spills. Here's the curveball that made people clutch pearls. That story Ryan told about telling Blake to effing you in front of a crowd wasn't just a bit. He was describing a real event while chasing a call from Bill Murray, and it landed ice cold to folks who were there. He said it happened at a formal event as they were walking in, which made insiders say the moment wasn't cute or flirty. It felt embarrassing. That retelling had friends and close circles reportedly rethinking the whole situation, because if that's the public version, people wonder what the private moments look like. And that's why the chatter hasn't slowed down one bit. The combo of the blind, the outlet's toxic framing, and that crowd moment lit the rumor mill on fire.
Has been full of the highest highs and the lowest lows.
Sources say the teasing used to be playful, but now it's edging into straight up cruel. And one insider claims Blake feels humiliated while Ryan acts like she should just brush it off. That's a big shift from the couple who used to turn roasting into romance online. And it's got people rethinking those old jokes as giant red flags, not cute banter. Once you start tracking the signs, the pattern pops out quick, and fans have been connecting dots for months as the vibe cooled off hard. The talk is that the jokes lost their charm and started cutting deep, especially with the recent stories about that icy public moment and the tone change around them. Here's the kicker. They haven't been spotted together much at all, and the last clear public appearance was at the SNL 50th anniversary back in February, where even their body language had folks debating whether things felt tense. After that, it's been crickets at events and socials, which is wild considering how much they used to play to the crowd. No flirty posts, no tag team chaos, no goofy birthday trolling, just silence. And that speaks loud when their old brand was all jokes and love taps in public. For two stars who made headlines for witty jabs, the sudden quiet hits different and keeps the rumor mill spinning. Then Reddit and socials clocked something that made everyone stop. Scroll Ryan's Instagram and it's wall-to-wall movies, business moves, and Wrexham updates, but barely any Blake in sight lately. Reports say her pics are still there if you dig way back to 2024 and earlier, but fans swear the recent stretch is dry, which only turned the speculation up further. And let's be real, this is the same guy who once posted a birthday pic with Blake cropped halfway out just for laughs, so the lack of playful posts now feels intentional to a lot of watchers. Between the throwback presence and the newer silence, people are reading the timeline like a map, and the route isn't looking cozy. If that blind item about them living apart for almost a year is legit, the social media silence suddenly tracks. If things were solid, we'd have seen at least one post shutting it down, but instead there's crickets. Not even a quick comment to cool the buzz. That's exactly why people think the quiet is saying more than words ever could right now. And about the other woman talk, some say it doesn't sound wild given how their love story kicked off, because they first crossed paths on Green Lantern while he was still married and she was with Penn Badgley. Then sparks flew later when both were single. 2010, split from their partners by late 2010, and didn't start dating until 2011, which keeps things technical but still had folks squinting at the overlap. No one credible is saying there was cheating, but the emotional closeness back then felt real to onlookers. And once the divorce finalized, she was spotted around him more, which fed the narrative. They were doing promo smiling, chemistry on max, then by fall 2011, she was seen visiting him in Boston during filming. And that's when the public couple era started rolling. So yeah, that's why the new other woman rumors hit nerves. Not because it's confirmed, but because the setup feels familiar to longtime watchers who remember the early timeline beats clearly. When history rhymes, people get loud, and that's exactly what's happening with these whispers now. Now let's get into the Justin Baldoni lawsuit, because this part is wild. Blake accused her It Ends With Us co-star and director of harassment and retaliation. And at first, it looked like just another Hollywood fallout until her legal team came in swinging with filings that claimed there's a digital trail. They allege Justin's side used encrypted apps like Signal and deleted messages to hide key communications, calling it a digital smoking gun in court papers. But Justin didn't just shrug it off. He fired back with a massive $400 million defamation suit naming Blake, Ryan, and their publicist, escalating this from a film set dispute to an all-out war between camps. That move turned the spotlight on the entire household and set up a legal showdown that had every outlet tracking filings by the hour. A key turn came when a judge tossed Justin's $400 million defamation case months later, a major win for Blake and Ryan in that part of the battle, even as the core harassment and retaliation claims kept grinding forward in federal court. The timeline shows more hearings ahead, discovery fights over messages, and ongoing back and forth that's still far from over. Now picture Ryan, the Deadpool star known for jokes, suddenly pulled into a legal storm he didn't start, balancing PR damage control while Blake fights to protect her career and name in a case that's already spilled into headlines and court calendars. With filings referencing auto-deleting chats and outside PR firms, the optics got messy fast and the stakes got sky high for both brands. So yeah, that lawsuit didn't just rattle a movie. It rattled their whole world, and the timing lined up with the whispers that had fans ready to dissect every blind item and clue as soon as they dropped. The takes have been loud, the threads relentless, and this story has turned into a running saga with new twists every week. Wild is right. Some commenters went all in, claiming he's not only cheated, and even pushing an unverified story that an actress said he coerced her into unwanted sex by flexing power on a set and threatening her job, calling him genuinely sleazy. That kind of allegation is unconfirmed and extremely serious, and repeating it without evidence can cross legal lines fast, which is why anyone spreading it should tread carefully and stick to verifiable facts only. If something like that were ever proven, it wouldn't just be messy. It could end a career, but right now it's rumor thread territory and not backed by official complaints tied to him personally. In high-profile cases, the legal standard for defamation is steep. Public figures must show actual malice. So reckless claims can boomerang hard on the posters, not just the subjects. Then there are the dramatic takes like "Scandal Do Us Part," with folks saying both Ryan and Blake dug themselves in deeper with silence, distance, and all the legal noise. And that sentiment is loud across snark subs and pop culture threads. When a public couple goes quiet after a PR-heavy era, the vacuum gets filled with theories, hot takes, and timelines that may or may not line up with court records. Another viral comment tried to connect dots that the harassment dispute sprang from private jealousy, claiming a crush sparked retaliation and that legal moves were a dare to call her bluff, which then backfired. But that's fan fiction unless it's in filings or rulings. Judges have already warned against inflammatory accusations designed to spark scandal, and some filings were even struck for that reason in this broader fight. Bottom line, the internet is loud and messy right now, and while the lawsuit saga is very real, the leap to unverified coercion claims about separate actors is a different level. Handle with care, cite sources, and don't treat comments as facts. This is one of those moments where ethics and receipts matter more than ever, especially when lives, reputations, and legal outcomes are on the line. If that's true, and that's a big if, then we're looking at a marriage running on fumes for a while, not just a rough patch, and the latest whispers feel like the tipping point for everyone watching closely. One take that went viral said they're no longer a power couple because Blake Lively is PR poison and hasn't done enough to rebuild her image in the industry, which had people debating whether a fast divorce is exactly how Hollywood handles clashing brands. It stings, but this town moves quick. Once an image cracks, sponsors, studios, and alliances start shifting. And if two careers stop syncing, a split can look like the cleanest play for both sides' futures. That's why so many think this might be the end of a fan-favorite duo, or the slow roll toward a very public breakup with optics managed at every step. And you know the script. One person suddenly pops out next to a friend who's been around in the background. Cameras catch the moment, and boom, the rollout is underway with headlines ready to go. So here's the question everyone's chewing on. When that reveal hits, who do you think Ryan's mystery boo would be? Because the way things are moving, that moment might drop sooner than anyone expects. Drop your guesses in the comments. Hit like, share this with a friend who lives for the tea, and smash subscribe so you don't miss the next update. Because by the next video, this saga could have a whole new twist. This story is evolving in real time, and the next breadcrumb might already be in someone's feed.